We're going live. Good luck.
Thanks.
I'll introduce you, obviously. There's a couple of things. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. After an interesting session with Facebook and Instagram, I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're moving towards a different, similar but a different arena. It's AI in digital marketing. What are the benefits and some case studies by Ignas Šimkus. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Ignas has been head of growth marketing for 5+ years. He's a great individual that cares about natural intelligence and artificial intelligence. I had a chat before backstage, and we shared some common things like, okay, how do you use chatbots? Like some people, I find it frustrating sometimes because you don't speak with a human. And he mentioned a couple of things that really made sense, and I was like, oh, okay, I won't spoil it for you because he will share everything with you. So I'm excited to listen to his ideas and his speech. Before I introduce him, and before I give the stage to Ignas, a couple of things. Our sponsor is Packed. They're giving away 20 ebooks. It's about AI powered commerce. So if you're interested in that, the way how you can get the ebook is just comment, ask any questions, and be basically active. I think it's a great ebook if you want to build a product or service based on AI. And if you have any questions during the chat, there's a Q&A on the right hand side. There's a chat as well. So in the end, Ignas will answer all your questions. And yeah, Ignas, welcome, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Alex, for the intro. Let's move on with the presentation. Okay, so the agenda for today looks as follows. I will start with the brief introduction to AI, commonly used techniques, and the main historical events that happened previously. And then we're going to move to AI application in real life and top use cases for digital marketing. And finally, some time for your questions. So what is AI? The definition served by Wikipedia sounds horrible and it's hard to understand, but if I would have to translate it into human language, it would mean the ability of a machine to do tasks that usually done by humans because they require human intelligence and vision. And when most of the people hear the term artificial intelligence, the first thing they usually think of is robots, and that's because of high budget films and novels that are about human-like machines that bring chaos to Earth. So that's nothing that could be further from the truth. Like most of the new technologies, it is surrounded by a lot of hype, and it means that AI was one of the top buzzwords for the past 10 years. And in today's technological era, AI is everywhere in the news, and they're seeing headlines like AI can design cities now, but can human beings allow it? While the actual message in the article is as simple as a group of researchers can use machine learning algorithm to help them design cities by basically checking the data about what people like and dislike. But even if it has been hyped in the past years, we cannot deny AI capabilities. So let's take a look at the main types of AI. First one is weak AI, or so-called artificial narrow intelligence, and it is AI trained and focused to perform specific tasks. Weak AI drives most of AI that surrounds us today, while narrow might be more accurate name for this type of AI, since it's nothing it's nothing but weak. One of the most common forms of narrow AI is a voice assistant like Siri. And Siri is an algorithm that is helpful at completing various specific tasks, but it can be there can be some challenges that comes outside of the range of its abilities. And since Siri express no self awareness or genuine intelligence, it is foundational example of narrow AI. Then we have strong AI, and one part of it is called artificial general intelligence or general AI. So it's a theoretical form of AI where machine would have an intelligence equal to humans. It would have a self-aware consciousness that has ability to solve problems, learn, and plan for the future. And then artificial superintelligence or just superintelligence, which would surpass the intelligence of human brain. And while strong AI is still entirely theoretical with no practical examples in use today, that doesn't mean that AI researchers aren't exploring its development. But in the meantime, the best examples of superintelligence would be science fiction, like a movie, old school movie, Space Odyssey, and HAL 9000, the evil machine. Now, what are the techniques behind AI? So there are two main parts of that. So machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning uses algorithms to analyze data, learn from it, and make informed decision based of the learnings. While deep learning structures algorithms in layers, and they create artificial neural network, which are capable of learning, making decisions on its own. And this enables the processing of unstructured data like documents, images, and text. And for instance, machine learning requires more ongoing human intervention to get results, while deep learning is more complex to set up, but afterwards it requires minimal intervention. And yet, even deep learning algorithms that are modeled on human brain aren't perfect, and sometimes they can fail big time. For example, in this meme photo, it's actually a very good illustration on how lack of context matters and how deep learning algorithms that don't have general intelligence couldn't recognize a dog in this image. And in order to fix such error, you would have to go even deeper into the model with reinforcement algorithms, and still it wouldn't provide 100% accurate results at this day. Now, let's take a quick look at some historical events that paved the foundations of AI we deal with today. So everything started, or like not started, but the I would call the father who initiated the interest in machines that think like humans was Alan Turing, the same mathematician who was working on Enigma machine that helped to decrypt Nazis' messages and win World War II. So the same guy created a Turing machine concept, which later evolved into so-called Turing test. And this is a simple method of checking whether a machine can demonstrate human intelligence. And it's done in a simple three-person game where computer uses written communication to try to fool human interrogator into thinking that it's another person. And despite all the major advances in the artificial intelligence, this is still quite a big challenge even today. Then until 1997, there was no huge success in this field. There was a lot of fiction about that and some academical research works, But the new interest in AI happened at 1997 when IBM's Deep Blue computer won against a world champion. In a pair of 6-game chess match that lasted several days, Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov, proving that computers can indeed handle complex calculations. So just for you to know, Deep Blue could calculate 200 million possible chess positions per second, and that's 1997. Then in 2002, the original iRobot Roomba vacuum cleaner came out when AI was not that advanced. iRobot's CEO, Colin Angle, had been studying and building robots as an MIT student, and he basically tried to make machines intelligent. And after his studies at MIT, he worked with U.S. Department of Defense to build robots that would clear minefields. And this collaboration basically resulted in AI system that enabled robots to check every area of the field and ensure the full coverage. And this solution of cleaning and coverage at the low cost inspired this Mr. Angle to build an intelligent vacuum for customers. The next breakthrough was in 2010 when Siri marked the beginning of virtual assistants era. 2 months following its release as a mobile application by Nuance Communications, Siri was acquired by Apple and integrated within iPhone 4S. And Siri was the first intelligent personal assistant to replace keyboards and touchscreens. In a natural voice, Siri would do recommendations, schedule events, answer questions, adjust any settings, and even run searches for you. And the more users would use Siri, the more it would adapt to their individual preferences. And it took Amazon 4 years to come up with a similar voice interface, which is called Alexa, whereas Microsoft Cortana or Google Assistant did it even later with less effective results. Then in 2016 was marked with another extraordinary success by DeepMind's AlphaGo Zero that exceeded human beings at the game of Go. AlphaGo program powered by deep neural networks beat Lee Sodol, the world champion Go player, in 5 games match. And this victory is significant given the huge amount of possible moves as the game progresses. So that's over 14 trillion just after 4 moves. So this was a huge success. And later, Google purchased DeepMind for over 400 million USD. And finally, Elon Musk's research group OpenAI created a bot that beat top players in Dota 2. The bot was actually an algorithmic team called OpenAI 5, where each algorithm used a neural network to learn how to play the Dota game and cooperated with its teammates. And the algorithms learned by playing against different versions of itself. So OpenAI breakthrough started a major new direction of AI, since algorithms now usually operate independently. So answering one of the hottest questions of the past years, are machines likely to become smarter than humans? The short answer would be no, and perhaps not that soon. Superintelligence is that is greater than human minds is still at the fictional level, while general intelligence, which would be equivalent of human intelligence level, is currently limited to supercomputer capabilities. And to give you an example, one of the fastest supercomputers built by Fujitsu did an attempt to achieve AGI, and yet the system took 40 minutes to simulate a single second of neural activity of human brain. However, thanks to all the efforts and development with AI creating artwork, writing literature, predicting earthquakes, and so on, superintelligence seems to be more like a question of when rather if. Now let's move to the fun part. So to say that AI in as a marketing tool is just getting popular over the last few years would be serious understatement, since recent Salesforce marketing reports show that 84% of marketers reported using AI for marketing, and that upped from 29% back in 2018. And yet, some companies hesitate to use AI for marketing out of fear that it may replace human jobs or become a barrier to making personal connections with the customers. But it can actually pave the way for more creative career experiences and deeper understanding on who are you serving. And of course, there are some myths surrounding AI. So every organization, from my point of view, every organization should consider the potential impact of AI on its strategy and investigate how this technology can be applied to solve business problems. In many ways, ignoring AI is basically the same as skipping the next phase of automation and could place companies at a serious competitive disadvantage. And it is believed that in the next 4 years, 60% over 60% of managers of works that managers currently does will be automated. And in such competitive environment, companies need to do reality check on how best they can integrate AI into their strategies right now. AI enables businesses to make more accurate decisions via predictions, classifications, and clustering. And these abilities have enabled AI-based solutions to reach deep into work environments, not only replacing easy tasks, but also supporting those that are more complex. So to say that AI will replace only simple jobs is not entirely true. For example, the use of imaging AI in healthcare. So there is a chest X-ray application based on AI that can detect diseases much faster than the radiologist could do. Or in financial or insurance industry, robo advisors are being used for wealth management and fraud detections. So these capabilities don't eliminate human involvement in these tasks, but will eventually limit to some specific level. For example, to observe and deal with unusual cases only. And at least for me, it wouldn't be a big surprise if marketing leaders who don't leverage AI would be replaced by those who do. Now, human marketers can already do so much with all the data that is available from digital channels, but AI makes it even more efficient, and it's getting more and more productive. So main areas where AI-driven tools can help us are maximizing data collection, visualizing customer journey, researching customers, personalizing content, identifying trends and data more quickly, providing a better and more convenient customer experience, and finally, free up us for more creative and critical. And now it's time to deep dive into practical ways on how AI could bring you benefits on daily basis. So I've chosen 5 AI use cases that, in my eyes, already shifted our productivity or could do even further. So if you start using them right away. And let's start let's begin with one of the most important marketing channels for most of the business, which is search engines. And AI is all around it. So basically, on every corner you could find the AI. And Google was always driven by algorithms that automatically generated a response for each query. So Google has as many as 63,000 search queries every single second, and it would be simply impossible to serve accurate results in real time at this speed and scale without AI. That's why today AI powers almost every part of search engine, including things like indexing all the pages published online, interpreting search queries by understanding human language, matching queries with the highest quality results, evaluating content, and much more. So it's clear that search engine itself operates flawlessly, let's call it like this. But what about paid activities? And here Google comes with an incredibly useful feature that helps to improve your Google ad performance with the power of AI. And with smart bidding, you make better, more, and at the same time, it frees up your time so you could focus on strategy, creative ad copies, or optimizing landing pages. So it's win-win solution. And I was surprised to hear that there are still around 20% of Google ads users who still do all the bidding manually, even if they have enough of conversions to let smart bidding do the magic. As you can see in this slide, smart bidding uses a bunch of signals that surround every single keyword, which has up to billions of combinations for every ad impression. And once you set target CPA or return on ad spend or max CPC, smart bidding automatically adjusts all the bids on the real-time basis to serve you with maximum output. The best course of action, if you're new to smart bidding option, would be to simply create some test campaigns and start experimenting. Just keep in mind that you need to have sufficient amount of conversions to make it actually work. Another big thing that is shaking the search engine marketing world is growing voice search volumes. So recent research found that 30% of global online population is using voice instead of typing on regular basis. And at the same time, the market of goods purchased in the screenless mode is expected to grow to 40 billion per year by 2024. So at least for me, these statistics give enough of signals to understand the scope of opportunity and the need to start adapting your tactics and to make sure your marketing efforts are voice friendly. And here comes semantic SEO, which is also about optimizing your site and content around particular topics or intent rather than keyword. And compared to typical typing out search queries, the difference in voice search is that users are likely to speak in longer sentences because it's less effort than typing it out. So the queries aren't just going to be long tail keywords, they will be complete questions. So you need to think about content titles, topics, writing styles that match the conversational queries. Now let's move to another channel, email marketing. It's obvious that everybody is already smart enough to segment emails, but have you ever considered segmenting emails into group of one? And with AI-driven email platforms like, for example, Rasa.io, every newsletter you send out can be completely custom for each of your subscriber. This tool will automatically customize the layout, images, headlines, CTAs, and content itself to make sure that your emails are actually opened and read it. And it is extremely powerful tool for any email marketer or anyone who cares about the user success rates, retention, and product usage itself. Another handy use case is personalized cold outreach tool like SmartWriter. So not only it is capable of sourcing contact details, but also it has integrated AI techniques that are able to analyze your prospects' website to find case studies, blogs, Google News, or even research LinkedIn profiles of company leaders in order to create unique outreach message with a punchy subject line based on this gathered data. And it is actually saving enormous amounts of time you would have to invest in personalization, while it actually improves your open rates and reply rates automatically. Another impressive feature is automated backlink request email campaigns. So AI engine reads entire blogs in seconds and understands the deep context behind the blog. And later, it can create a unique outreach message referencing key points from the blog to build trust with the author and stand out from everyone else using standard templates. The first use case is conversational marketing, also known as chatbots. And typical chatbot uses natural language processing technology to mimic human conversations via text. And for instance, Tedia chatbot allows you to set up conditions that trigger chatbot response, which could be different based on user intent. And not only it is able to reduce your customer support team loads, but also can provide valuable user satisfaction insights while analyzing conversation sentiment. So the chatbot can read the whole conversation thread and basically give it a score in terms of sentiment. And that's not it. Marketers can use chatbot to help drive sales by triggering upsell and product recommendations chatbot, or it can be used for improving conversion rates by offering discount coupon codes, or even generate leads by offering some exclusive offer that would be delivered via given email address. Also, consumer retail spending via chatbots is expected to reach 142 billion by 2024. And some of the studies report that chatbots are able to increase sales by 67% on average. The next use case that is a very powerful one is content creation. So GPT-3 NLP model released back in 2021 by OpenAI is the largest neural network ever produced. And it has over 175 billion machine learning parameters, which is 17 times more than its previous, the previous number two model. And this model requires a small amount of input text to generate large volumes of relevant and sophisticated machine-generated text. Such technological advancement opened the market for various content generation tools that can assist you with content strategies and actual content writing. It can generate decent ad copy or product description and educational content that is human-friendly, while more sophisticated content pieces would require some human input. But either way, the human input would be much lower and the full content creation process itself more efficient. And the AI model behind these tools is trained on worldwide internet data. As a result, it supports multiple languages. So that opens even more possibilities. For example, to gain quick traction in foreign markets, you can basically generate foreign different language content in a second and give it a try. And it is proof that such content is plagiarism free and is able to rank organically. And finally, the last but definitely not the least use case, which is product pricing. So ineffective pricing could be one of the biggest struggles for any marketer, especially in highly competitive industries like retail. However, this is another place where AI can jump in to make data-driven adjustments that could set optimal margins in order to maximize your revenue and profits. And while this might sound very company-centric approach, that these tools only care about company profits and revenue, it is actually helping companies like Uber or airlines, any airlines, to keep some stock available at the high demand times. And this is actually a good thing for price inelastic customers. And companies like Sniffy or Dynamic Pricing AI have developed instruments that can take care of these price adjustment human error free. They can follow the predefined rules. Let's say you set up a minimal margin, or you analyze a stock quantity and set specific rules, or just based on previous sales. As well, these tools can provide insights from extracted competitor data. Basically, you just need to set up who is your competitor, and they can scrape the whole internet and provide you with the real-time prices of competitors and do adjustments if needed based on that. Now it's time to wrap up everything you heard today. So first of all, weak AI. And weak AI is not as weak as it sounds, and it actually proved to deliver exciting results in the many fields. And it is one of the mostly applicable, the only applicable AI in the industry. Meanwhile, strong AI in any form is only available in the fiction movies. The next thing is AI should be considered as a competitive advantage. Companies refusing to consider it in their strategy might face some issues in the long perspective. AI in digital marketing been growing for the past years, and it isn't likely to stop. Wider use of AI-driven tools are proved to increase productivity, efficiency, and return on ad spend. And finally, for those who believe that AI might turn out to be for those who believe that AI is going to sooner or later replace us as a marketers in a sense, I believe that future is not that dark, and it might turn out to be a totally opposite case. Let's say if a single person could do much more with the help of AI tools, it could become an opportunity for even smallest companies that could never afford big marketing teams to give it a try, meaning that it would open more jobs for us, especially for those who haven't ignored the AI. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the talk. And before we go to Q&A part, I would like to invite you to visit our virtual booth just after the session is official finished. So there will be more of my colleagues from TDO, and we would be glad to answer any questions you have in mind.
Awesome. Thank you, Ignas. So basically, if you don't want to stay behind, you have to get into AI. I think that's the main lesson that I learned. So if you have any questions, okay, let's see. First question, we do have questions. Where or how do we learn to use AI to help our company's digital marketing? Where to start? Asked by Mila.
So, like, I would first of all, like, how I learn about the AI in digital marketing. So there are many interesting LinkedIn groups or individual people that are covering this part of the technology. So, if you DM me after the session, I could provide you with some cool names on that matter. And of course, like, just follow what's happening in the news, in tech news, and this is where I basically build my knowledge around it, and of course researching stuff.
Cool. Um, can you recommend any source of information to track the developments in AI?
So basically the same sources. So the individual people or groups that are interested in this topic, covering all the interesting parts that happens in the world. So usually if something major happens, you can learn about it in the matter of minutes.
Okay. And then Kate asks, I'm wondering how accurate are those emails AIs you've shown in the presentation? Is there any good research available on how prospects perceive the quality of this AI based messages?
Uh, so yeah, like you basically need to test. It's different on every industry and on any like personal level. So I would recommend testing different tools, and there will definitely be something that fits, or it will require minimal like intervention before you can push those emails. And there are studies who analyze the way people perceive these AI-based messages, and from what I learned, there are no stress about it. Basically, most of the people don't even realize that it's AI-generated message, and it is proven to increase open rates and reply rates. So all you need to do to be a human who replies those emails, so not to automate everything.
Yeah. So what you're saying basically is have a mix of human and AI. Don't have 100% AI, and that's it. Like we said previously, it's like trying to save money, right? Company, okay, I will, and then we want to have customer service, right? And so have 50-50. What's the percentage that you recommend to have?
Like, I wouldn't recommend to set specific percentage, like of how many what part of the communication should be covered, but I would focus on the quality. So you should only use chatbots on when you feel that you chatbot. So basically, you need it set up in appropriate way, and the only goal for you should be the quality of the experience of customers. So if you're trying just to remove any human interaction in terms of communication, that's going to be terrible experience, because it won't handle hard questions, but simple questions, for example, like what are the shipping terms, or how can I track my shipment, could be answered in seconds, compared to like 5 or 3 minutes waiting line for a human person.
Yeah, it makes sense. Basically, for basic questions like the tracking or all that, is good to have AI. But a more specific question, you need to have a person. I actually had like a couple of weeks ago. I tried to get in touch with an airline, and it was so frustrating because the question that I had wasn't a general question. So I wrote on chat, when you write, how does my rig, can I basically, I wanted to ask about the cost that they charge for my rig, my skydiving rig. And the AI was taking me to places, this, and it's like, no, I just need a human being. Just tell me if I can take my rig, my skydiving rig, on board with me, rather than just. And it was so. I wasted, not spent it, like 30 minutes. I couldn't find the phone number. I won't mention the airline. I couldn't find the phone number. I couldn't chat with anyone. It's like, okay, I'm gonna show up in the airport, and it's just frustrating at sometimes. But yeah, I guess you said it right. You have to have a human being. So why do companies then don't have this, like, the frustration of this airline? Like, I'm sure they can afford an extra 5 people in customer service, and I'm sure people have different questions that are more complicated. Like, okay, the basic tracking, like you mentioned, it's easy, or how much kilograms. Like, they're all basic, but people have more advanced questions. Like I had, like, can I take a rig on the plane rather than just on. But how can companies do that?
I believe that this is just a strategy of the airline. So most probably it was like a cheap travel airline, and they just want to cut spends and increase profit margins. But and that, like, if designed correctly and if you have enough of data, you can basically create a chatbot that would eliminate human need. But like, it's a tough work to do, and it's a question how invest into that. Because if you have a lot of data, a lot of questions, threads, you can push this data to chatbot to learn each of the user intent, and based on that user intent, you can predefine the answer. And like, it's not possible to make it answer like 99% of the questions, but you can start with 80%. So like, you should start with frequently asked questions, and then the rest should go to the live agent.
Yeah, but I don't think we can eliminate 100%. Like, have obviously just AI. You need a human being. You need humans. Like, end of the day. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Let's see. No. If you have any more questions, we have a couple of more minutes. On that note, Ignas, thank you so much. I recommend you connect with Ignas on LinkedIn, on Twitter. You can obviously a couple of questions where you ask, how do you stay in touch? How do you stay in touch? Well, how do you learn more? I guess by following Ignas on LinkedIn, you create content based on AI. So connect with Ignas on LinkedIn, and yeah, thank you so much, Ignas. We'll have a break. The break will be until 2:40 GMT +3. So basically, in 1 hour, wherever you are in the world, in 1 hour exactly, we'll come back with a great session about how to scale content with James Brockbank. So that will be an interesting speech. As I mentioned previously, our sponsor is packed. They're giving away 20 ebooks, and you can ask questions, interact with the conference, and then you might get one of their free ebooks. So on that note, thank you so much, Ignas. Thank you so much, everybody who attended the session. We will be back in an hour. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can always ask us or ask Ignas. And yeah, we'll see you in an hour then.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye. See you in an hour.